Hey guys, my name is Lacey Henry and I am doing my presentation over travel to England, specifically to London, England. And there's a few things that we should know before we travel. The first thing that we need to figure out is what airlines fly there. From Austin, Texas, Delta has a nonstop flight that's about 9 hours in length. So we could take that flight. It's kind of expensive, but the company's paying for it. So we could take that flight to London and be at Heathrow Airport within 9 hours. Once we're there, different modes of transportation that are available in London include taxi. They have what they call the tube, which is basically like the equivalent of our subway. They have train. They have cycle for hires, kind of like they have in Austin. And they also have Uber and buses. I'm not sure if I mentioned that one. A lot of the most common transportation is the tube and Uber. I just had a friend who traveled to London for a business trip, and the way that they traveled was primarily with Uber. I think they used the tube one time, but it was primarily with Uber. Some other things that you would need to know when traveling would be the time difference. So to get from Austin, Texas, which is in Central Standard Time, to London is a 6-hour time difference, and they're ahead of us. So right now in London, it's almost 2:30 in the morning on January 10th. So they hit the day before we do. The currency exchange for London, they use the pound, and it's $1 to 0.78 pounds. And within the last 5 years, the pound has been worth as much as 82 cents to the dollar. That was in December of 2016, and it's been as low as 59 cents to the dollar in May of 2014. So 2014 doesn't seem to be a very good year for currency exchange. In my experience, the best time to exchange money would be at your local bank before you go to your trip. A lot of times what you'll find is currency exchange in the airport or local places that you might find have a worse or lower exchange rate than what you could get at like your local Chase Bank, for instance. When we went to Costa Rica this past summer, we exchanged our money at Chase before we went, and they seem to have some of the better exchange rates. So that's what I would do. You know, most companies nowadays have company credit cards that you can use, and most of them are you can use overseas without any extra penalties or fees. So I'll primarily be using my company credit card for all expenses. However, if I want something small, like a little snack or something like that, then it would be best to exchange maybe $100 or so into pounds. But I really won't need a lot of that. It's important to remember too that when you're traveling overseas, you don't want to carry a lot of money with you. You want to make sure that you keep those safety things in mind, because carrying a lot of money is typically never safe, right? In order to get into the country, you're going to need a passport. And for business travel in the UK, you just need a passport unless you're going to be there for more than 6 months. At that point, you would need to get a work visa. But since this is going to be a trip that's short and sweet, all we'll need is our American passport, and that's going to get us into the country. Your passport is kind of like a protection for you too. It gives you the protection under the U.S. laws and the laws of the country that you're in by carrying that passport. So it's really important that you keep up with it while you're there and you don't lose it. The other thing to know is traveling to London, it's a lot like traveling to any other big city in the United States. There's going to be a hodgepodge of cultures different languages that are spoken, just like here. The primary language is English, just like we speak. And you shouldn't have any problems really with communication unless you have a really thick Texas dialect like some of us do, and then they might make fun of you, but that's about it. You should be able to understand everyone else for the most part because they speak the same language. As far as like cultural differences, one thing that my friend learned when she traveled over there is that when dealing in business, people from England find it very important to buy your dinner and treat you to the London experience. They tried to pay for their dinner a couple of different times and it was always turned down, which is, it's always nice and appreciated to offer, but it was important to the people of London to pay for their dinner and to treat them to a nice place. And so that was one thing that she found to be interesting and a little bit cultural specific. The only other thing is remembering that you're a representative of your company and of our great country. And so when we travel over there, we want to be respectful of other people's cultures and religions and things of that nature, just like we would try to do if they were visiting the United States. So looking forward to this trip to London. And I think we have done some great preparation and we'll be ready to take the trip. Thanks.